General Grardor. Damn it. General Grardor, colloquially referred to as Bandos, is one of the most popular and nostalgic bosses in all of old school RuneScape. Something about the way his armor looks, the value of his drops, and the simple mechanics makes this boss beloved by the whole community. Now, Bandos has been good to me, and in this video, I'm gonna pass my blessing and drop RNG onto all of you. So sit back, relax, and let's learn some Bandos 6.0. Bandos can be a tricky boss to take down without some friends or alternate accounts. But in this guide, we're going to cover something called the 6.0 method. To get right to the point, the 6.0 method is a way where we can use a ranged weapon to hit the boss 6 times while ensuring he never touches us. When done correctly, the 6.0 method can extend trips into 20 plus kills. So whether you're grinding for the armor, pet, or just trying to get ranked for combat diaries, the 6.0 method is for you. If you don't need any of the fluff about requirements, gear, or inventory, feel free to skip ahead to the timestamp on the screen, which actually goes over the method itself. You'll be happy to know there is no red Xing involved in this, but it is a fairly click-intensive method of handling Bandos. Bandos is a boss after all. So let's start by covering some requirements and the gear and inventory I would recommend. Bandos is located in the God Wars dungeon and thus requires completion of the Troll Stronghold quest to enter. However, with the recent addition of the combat diaries, the Gomel's Hilt, a reward from the easy diary, allows us to bypass the quest requirement by allowing 3 daily teleports to the entrance of the God Wars dungeon. You also need 60 strength or agility, as well as 1 rope to enter the dungeon if it's your first time. This boss can be done in a mid-level setup with a rune or dragon crossbow, Aver's Assembler, Fury, Helm of Netzenot, Blessed D'hide, Barrows, gloves, and an adamant or dragon diamond enchanted bolts, depending on if you use a rune or dragon crossbow. Some special things to note about the setup is to make sure you have at least 1 Bandos and Zamorak piece of Blessed D'hide, as this makes getting kill count a lot easier. I have a Twisted Buckler because of its range, strength, and accuracy bonuses, but this is a 16 million coin item, so I know it can be considered out of scope for a mid-level build. As an alternative, you can always use the Crystal Shield for its great defensive bonuses against the minions. And you'll also notice I have a Ring of Suffering on for its defensive and recoil capabilities. But this can also be swapped with an Imbued Archer's Ring if you don't have the money for a Suffering. Now let's cover some higher level gear for tackling Bandos. I personally bring full crystal and a bow of Farandinin. It's important to make sure you recolor it in all black because it is objectively the best color for crystal. I opted to upgrade the Fury for an Anguish and have equipped a War Blessing and Zamorak D'hide boots for god items. In my inventory, I bring a 4-way switch to Mage for blood barraging the minions, which includes a Mage Arena 2 quick cape, Tormented Bracelet, Occult Necklace, and Ancient Scepter. In my inventory, I also include a Blowpipe, 3 Stamina Potions, 5 Super Restore Potions, 2 Ranging Potions, 2 Saradomin Brews, some food, 10 to 20 Bones to Peaches tabs, my Gomel's Hilt, a rune pouch for blood and ice barrage, and a 1-click teleport out. You may want to opt to leave a ranging, stamina, and restore potion out for some food while you're learning, since you'll certainly be tanking more hits. I found that generally my stamina potions are the thing that limits my trips, so as you get better, feel free to adjust your inventory based on what you use and what you run out of. I do my KC in the northern part of the God Wars dungeon, next to all the goblins and the entrance to the Zamorak enclosure. KC is pretty quick here, so there's not much to say about it. You may have noticed I didn't bring a hammer, and you do need a hammer to get into the Bandos encampment. Luckily, the goblins near the door have a 50% chance to drop the hammer, so save some KC to knock them out quickly. To get inside, drop a piece of food outside the door, go through the door, drop a piece of food inside, go back outside the door one more time, grab the food you initially dropped, head through the door again, drop the hammer, and pick up your other piece of food. Now you're through the door with a full inventory. Before you go in, I find it helpful to tag Bandos with the NPC Indicators plugin in shift right-clicking and selecting the tag option. I also find it helpful to use the menu entry swapper plugin to swap the attack option on the minions to walk here. This way you don't have to worry about right-clicking the boss or accidentally clicking the minions while you're running around the room. You can also import the ground markers I have by copying the JSON text in the description below, right-clicking the world map, and clicking the import ground markers option. Pray melee until you get into the cycle, take a sip of your ranging and stamina potions if you need it, and enter the room. The first kill is always the hardest, and it's likely Bandos will hit you at least once. This is perfectly normal. Head to the southwest corner, shoot once, and move to the northwest corner of the room, skipping the tile labeled skip first. Now Bandos should be in cycle, so pray range. From here on out, you're going to attack from each of the yellow squares, moving clockwise around the room until Bandos is dead. Simple as that. When Bandos respawns, you should be on the tile labeled start. Your intuition and muscle memory may tell you to shoot from this tile as soon as he spawns, but if you do, he will hit you. Instead, when Bandos spawns, you should immediately run to the southwest tile labeled shoot and take your shot. Since it is your first lap around and Bandos spawns, you'll have to skip the tile labeled skip first, moving directly from the shoot tile to the northwest corner. If you do this correctly, the cycle will be set and Bandos will not have hit you. In future laps, it's safe to attack from the tile skip first. You only have to skip it on the first lap of every kill. It's really important to attack and then move as soon as your character touches the attack tile. Otherwise, you will be tanking hits because you're going to be behind. The tile indicator plugins and show true tile option are really helpful in understanding where your player is located from the server's perspective. Of course, you can always skip tiles if you need to eat or fix the cycle, but remember to keep moving at all times. If you do plan to skip a tile, make sure you actually go to it and click on the next tile in the sequence in order to make sure you maintain the cycle. Although the cycle is fairly forgiving to mistakes, we still want to try to preserve it in order to avoid damage. So let's talk through some examples where we make mistakes and how we can correct them. In this clip, we immediately enter the room and run to the tile labeled skip first. Bandos hits us with a range attack, which should immediately cue us into the fact that we are out of cycle. As I move to the northwestern corner, I take a shot and correctly click the next tile in the sequence. My timing is correct, but I still tank a hit moving across the room. Why? The answer is because I never corrected the cycle from my mistake when entering the room. After taking a second hit, I chose to skip the middle tile and head directly to the corner, hoping to fix the cycle. Unfortunately, I miss a click and it causes me to stay for an extra tick as I walk into the corner, further disrupting the cycle. The next tile is the shoot tile, so it's essential that I attack from it. While moving to the skip first tile again, I tank another hit, letting me know that the cycle is still skewed. So I choose to run past it to the northwest corner and once again fix the cycle. And as you can see from the clip, the rest of the kill is buttery smooth as I tank 0 extra hits from Bandos. Sometimes you'll find that the cycle can correct itself depending on where you tanked a hit or what you did wrong. However, it's definitely not best practice to rely on this. Basically, if you're getting hit by Bandos, skip the next tile in the sequence to get back on track, unless that tile is the shoot tile. You always need to shoot from the shoot tile or you will be guaranteed to be taking hits. After the boss is dead, kill the mage minion with your blowpipe. You can flick the melee and ranger if they are off ticked. I like to stack the ranger and melee on top of one another and blood barrage to get the rest of my HP up. If you still aren't full HP, you can always collect the drop bones and use the bones to beach his tabs to get some extra health back. Then simply wait on the start tile for Bandos to spawn and restart the cycle. That's really all there is to 6.0 Bandos. I hope you learned something new or interesting, and if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as it really helps my channel grow. Thank you and have a great day.